So following on from our tutorial on if statements, we're going to be having a look at a while statement. And a while statement works in a very similar way to an if statement, but it allows us to keep repeating the code, keep executing the code contained within it, so long as the conditional statement remains true. So let's have a look at the code here. We've got make stuff set up as a Boolean variable, and we're going to start by getting rid of that. Let's get rid of all traces of it. We'll get rid of it here where we set its value, and we'll get rid of the if statement. And this time we're going to have an integer value, int, and we're going to call it wall count. And this is going to keep track of how many wall sections have been created. So back within the CPP file, we need to initialize our variable. So wall count equals 0 to start with. And you'll see very quickly that this works very similar to the if statement. We're going to say while wall count is less than 10. So it's going to keep executing this code that makes these two sections of wall until the wall count is equal to 10. Now at the moment wall count 0, and it will execute this code. Wall count will still be 0. So it will execute it again and again and again and again, and will create an infinite loop, which will in fact cause the software to crash. So what we need to do is to increase the value of wall count every time that we make two pieces of wall. We're also going to say wall count plus equals 1, or because we only want to increase it by 1, simply plus plus is slightly more efficient here. So let's have a look at what's happening. Wall count 0. It makes two pieces of wall, increases it by 1. Wall count is 1. So it still meets the condition in our while statement. So it will execute the code again and go up to 2. And then again and go up to 3 until it reaches 10. Once it reaches 10, it's already produced 10 pieces of wall. The while statement condition will no longer be true, and it will stop running that code. So let's compile. And once successfully compiled, let's play this. Now, what you'll notice, which is a little bit odd, is we're meant to have 10 sets of wall. But we can only see one set of wall pieces. Why has this happened? Well, at the moment, we are creating 10 pieces of wall, but we're actually creating them all at the exact same vector, all at the same x, y, and z locations. So what we need to do, as well as creating the wall, we then need to change this vector, my location h, and this other vector, my location y. So my location h controls the position of the horizontal wall, and we'd like its x coordinate to increase by 100. So it's going to create this piece of wall in the same location on the x and y axis, but 100 pixels further along on the x-axis. And we're going to do the same with our vertical wall. So my location dot v try that again. My location v dot x plus equals 100. Semicolon. So now every time this runs, it will make a piece of wall, increase this vector variable here, my location h and my location v, which are declared up here, so that the next piece of wall is created 100 pixels along on the x-axis. So let's compile that one last time, and if you've written the code successfully, once we play it, we should, instead of a single L section of wall, we should now have 10 pieces of wall. So each of those represents one iteration of the loop. And every time one of those L sections is created, it increases the value of wall count by 1 until eventually wall count reaches 10 and it stops running the code. Thank you. In our next section, we're going to be looking at for loops.